Welcome back to Fighters Drinking Coffee, guys. Wow, that was breathy.
It's intense.
Yeah. So we just got back 2 days ago. When you're hearing this, it'll be 3, but we just got back, Scott on Saturday, myself on Sunday from Las Vegas, Nevada for the IBJJF World No-Gi Championships. We both competed. We had a bunch of friends that were competing, some friends of the show, so a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We had some fun. We had some good meals.
We did.
Some
mediocre meals too in the lead up.
Yeah, some very boring cups full of dry ass chicken.
That's right.
And hard boiled eggs. But it was an exciting weekend. Not for me, like the result wasn't what I wanted, but like ultimately it was. I think it went great. We'll talk it more in depth with that. You broke your curse of losing in the first round. Brought home some hardware yourself, and we'll go more into that as well. Friends, Andrea made her brown belt debut. We watched Maya destroy that girl's knee.
Yep, she did.
Beatrice had some good matchups too, and like just people we know. And then our friends from Unbreakable Jiu-Jitsu, it was I think she double golded.
She did.
So it was overall like some cool stuff was going on. And a lot of, and we'll talk about data collection on the next episode, but we put together we got some good data from just getting out there. I mean, this was my first time competing at Worlds.
It was.
And like just being in that environment like made a huge, that in and of itself is pretty cool. So I mean, I thought it was less of a thing than I kind of expected too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a little less intimidating. Honestly, I think Pans was like a more like intense environment than Worlds was. Probably just because the venue is tighter, like the way that venue is set up. But yeah, man. But I'm just rambling at this point. Let's get into it.
That's a good point though. Yeah, dude. I mean, it was your first year. We'll do the analysis later, but since we're on the subject, first year, like competing a shit ton, dude, like a full-time athlete.
The bigger tournaments, long time too.
Yeah, in a long time too. The bigger tournaments have this, and you definitely handled it well. Obviously, I was there, watching and helping coach you, so I got to see like how you like looked too. But like those big tournaments can have like that intensity, and then the nerves can be a little amplified. I think for most people, it's a reasonable reaction, especially if, like we just discussed, it's your first time running back through the circuit again as actively as you were. All the activity you had definitely helped with what you just said, with it not feeling like it's some huge daunting thing. It's another tournament. It's a big tournament, but it's another tournament. And like you saw, like, I mean, we had this happen to lots of friends. This is the name of the game, dude. Like, I mean, we'll get to my story in a minute, but like I've lost in the first round at every Worlds I'd gone to before this. I haven't been competing at every Worlds for the last like 8 or 9 years, but enough times I was like, crap, man, I gotta I gotta deal with this. But it ends up just like, it's like any other tournament, man. Like you can lose first round, you can get hurt, like things are just gonna happen. You might also win out, dude. Like it's just, they're tournaments, right? So the more activity you have and then another goal down the road, like this is a long journey, like that type of mentality of like, I'll just keep running it, I think helps. And it was cool to see that you were very calm and like you're very composed. This is just like more of the same. Cool big event. And probably for you, like you said, Pans was the first major you were doing before that. So you may have even kind of broke that psychology down in that first go around as well. Of experiencing that big ass tournament kind of vibe. So but it was I mean, for me, dude, I was in Vegas. I had been in Vegas for like 11 days, which is way too much time to be in Vegas.
Yeah, you were basically a local by the time we got there. You knew everything.
I did.
You were all about it.
I knew quite a bit. I was seasoned for the Vegas environment, and I did stay away from the Strip the entire time. I was there up until the tournament where I just got a hotel down on the Strip and said, I'm just going to be around the venue and around my people for this event, which was kind of like, I like the Vegas Strip. I just know that I shouldn't be on it for 11 days straight.
Oh yeah. It's, I think the last time I had been in Vegas, we did like 5 days and it was on the 5 days on the Strip. It was way too long.
Eternity.
It's way too long.
And it's expensive, man. Like everything just costs way more than it really should. And it's fine quality. It's just like, it's goofy. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stay off the Strip, spend less money, stay away from the temptations of whatever the Strip presents to you, which is a lot. And so, I did that and it definitely helped me. I had just like a normal Airbnb type of environment. I could cook there. I could like lay around and sleep and get extra sleep if I needed without feeling like I needed to get out and walk around out in the sun all day. Weather was nice.
Yeah.
It's much nicer than it is here.
Yeah, I would say we came home to like below freezing temperatures.
Immediately. And dude, it dropped apparently. Like what everyone was telling me was that it's been cold, but it got like 10 to 15 degrees colder in the last 2 days. So as soon as we got back,
the polar vortex came through and cooled everything off. And
bring it. It's wintertime now.
Yeah, it's real winter.
Fuck it.
Real winter.
Yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, like, yeah, there were a lot of like friends of ours, other high level competitors that we know who some of them had like first round, like tough losses. Some of them had like competitive matches, didn't go their way. A lot of them had success too. A lot of buddies from our area who made the podium or won their first world championship. It was cool to see.
Yeah, it was really cool. We also saw some like super weird referee stuff. Super weird. I learned new rules. Did you like, you know, like that whole, there were a couple where it was like, oh, that's the De La Riva thing.
Mm-hmm.
There, like we learned about that apparently if you underhook the leg, you have De La Riva and you scoop the leg and then lock your hands, you're not allowed to hold your De La Riva hook anymore. So jot that down. But like super weird, like very early DQs that like no one wanted to, like even the person who was on the winning end of it was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So like it very strange, a couple of those. And like the rest are just like, nope, you're out, get out of here. And you know, some that were questionable for people we know, right? Like one of Tim's guys had a slam DQ that was like a super questionable, at least from what I
thought
heard.
It was questionable. I saw it.
I barely missed it. I just like saw Tim arguing over it, but you know, it was a questionable DQ where, you know, just from an armbar, they called a spiking thing and it wasn't like the guy lifted him up and threw him on the ground or anything.
Yeah, he was trying to extract his arm and there was a little bit of elevation, but he was clearly just trying to pull his arm out. To your point, man, we've talked about this before. It's like that's an important call out too. Like, and anyone listening, like more of the same, but it feels even more important when you're at the World Championships. Everyone cares a lot about the World Championships, of course. But dude, you know, that happened early. That happened Thursday.
Yeah.
That was the day you competed. I remember that was before you went, but that was one of the moments where I was like, all right, like, well, this isn't new, but even more of a reminder that to the extent that like you want to stay out of scenarios where the referee has to make a call on the behalf of the match, do the best you can to do that, because it's like every other tournament, but people are flying from all over the world. They're spending their money. It's the end of the year. You've trained all year. You've competed all year. Like you're preparing for this. Like, do not put the results of your match in the hands of the referee as best as you can. Ooh. That was a tough one where like that was just like a kind of a messed up call, and you can't really prevent that to an extent. I mean, it's easy in hindsight to say just don't get in the armbar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously part of jiu-jitsu, so that shit happens, man. So that was a tough one. There were some there was a dude in my division who didn't make the podium, but we talked about it afterwards. Like I've competed against this dude. He's like in his 40s, like he's smart, like, or he's just turned 40, excuse me if he hears this. Age him more than he is. But he was like, dude, like I tell my students, like, don't put yourself in the situation. He's like, it's a good lesson. He's like, I live by my own lessons. I get it. He's a professor, of course, he's a black belt. But he was talking about how he didn't give up any points. He went 0-0 in the semis and just he thought he was more active. He's like, he of course believes that he had earned the ref's decision, but he didn't get the ref's decision. And so he was like, he was fine with it. He was like, I don't love this, but I know this is part of the game.
Well, and he had a pretty good, like, I mean, I guess he had said that the year before he had lost on ref's decision to the same guy.
Yeah.
And like, he had his look, the way he looked at it too is like, that's my fault.
Yeah,
like I shouldn't have put it there. Like it shouldn't have been a ref's decision. Like I didn't score. It's not on my opponent that I didn't score to win. Like that I didn't put points on the board and win. So like he had a really professional way of looking at it. And like, I mean, accountability matters too, right? Like that's actually something that a lot of the people that lost that we know, like they all had accountability for the, very few, unless they were like super contestant of like, they felt like something was done
extremely,
they felt wronged,
extraordinarily incorrectly.
But for the most part, everyone was like super accountable for their losses. The only exception was someone I know was just talking about like because I think they're contesting it, so I don't want to shout them out.
Yeah.
Just in case. I don't know how it works. But they, they were just saying that they had some, like there was a weird thing at the end where they were like taking away points from him and
that's weird.
Yeah. So like there was a weird, he wasn't awarded advantages for things that the other person was, and like he had advantages taken away, and like it was a very strange, in the final too. So like,
yeah, that's tough, man.
Some like, and you don't want that like to be gray either. Like, so, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It
is what it is.
You got people making decisions, and
it is what it is.
But like the guy in your division said, like, just don't put it in their hands.
That's right.
Don't put it in the ref's hands. Like, put the points on the board and win.
That's right.
So, that's the way it goes, which, you did a pretty good job of. You had a good run. You had, what was it? Four matches. You had three, like, your first match was insanely dominant. Second match was a great match. It was, so that one was, it was pretty back and forth for a while, but you stuck in there and, like, did a good, and, like, took control when it mattered.
Yep.
And then your third match, you knocked out the number 2 seed.
The guy who was the world champion from the year before, by the way.
Oh, was he?
I found that out afterwards.
He
was the number 2 seed. Yeah, I found that afterwards.
Yeah, I just saw that he was the number 2, so I wasn't sure.
He won Worlds last year. But so first match was very, very like textbook insofar as like stuff that I train all the time. Takedown, a guard pass, side control, submission. And so like right according to plan. Second match came out, and other dude was athletic and like scrappy dude, and I took him down too, and then he swept me. He swept me with like a kind of like he had like a very interesting, awkward guard that, looking back on the tape, which I have looked at now, funny that I felt it was awkward because I kind of do the same thing that he does. He has this like oblique maneuver where he's like on his side, but he has like a loose butterfly hook and an overhook. And I do that too. I just have never had it done to me. And credit to him for pulling that off. But he and I think I had gotten an advantage prior to that for something. So it was
2-2 after his sweep, I believe.
It was definitely 2-2, but I think I had an advantage. Not that it mattered, because at the end of the day, I did end up scoring enough. It was definitely my match, obviously, and I won. But I remember thinking to myself, like, "Fuck, man! Like, good job, dude." And I had to counter like right away, and play off my back, which is not where I want to be. But for what it's worth, and this is what I tell my guys when I'm coaching too, which is like, if I'm on my back, what I'm going to do, all of my activity for my back is to get off of my back as quickly as possible. So I swept him, and then off of the sweep, I had his arm already locked. I had his arm locked from the sweep maneuver that I used, and I stepped around right away. I guess I stepped up into Neon Belly. They gave me points for that, which I'll take them. I wasn't my intention to get Neon Belly points.
Yeah, they gave you the 2 for like the super. It was a super low Neon Belly,
but they gave it to me, which I
looked
back on that. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take it. I don't know if I really fully earned them, but that's okay. They gave them to me, so I'll take a referee call on. Everything we're saying about referees, like occasionally it works out in your favor. And I stepped around on that for an armbar, and man, this armbar, you remember this, dude? I was cranking on this guy's arm, and I had it like bent, and I was like, how is this guy not fucking tapping to this armbar?
Oh, dude, it was so tight.
But dude was cool, man. He stayed calm. He didn't he didn't want to be in the armbar for sure, but he was not tapping. So anyways, he rolled out of the armbar after I was just blasting this, and I wanted the submission, so I was like, fuck, all right, whatever, fine. And then he scrambled up. And so I was on my back, and I kind of scrambled up and out of that too, and I wrestled up from there. And I think I don't get points for that because I was already on top at the beginning of that initiation, but I came back on top and then passed his guard, got to side control, and he tried to do that goofy maneuver again as I was passing his guard, and this time I was not having it. I say goofy maneuver; it's a nice maneuver. It's credit to him. I just didn't want it done to me twice.
Yeah.
So I maneuvered around. I was like attacking his back as time went on. I had enough points on the board. It was definitely my match. And then third round. So by the way, there were 25 people in my bracket, which is a decent sized bracket. It's fairly big for a tournament like this. And so it was going to be, I had to win 3 times to make it to the podium. To get, in to get into the semifinals match. And so that was when I drew the guy who was a number 2 seed. I was the 11 seed. Everyone else who was in the semis and finals, it was always like, it was 1 through 4 minus the 2 seed after I took him out. And so anyways, me and this guy, we tie up or whatever, and he pulls guard on me immediately. And we had a very I would call it like a technical strategic match of him trying to keep me confined in his guard, which he did do for the majority of the match quite well. And then me trying to neutralize whatever he wanted to do from guard. And both of us, at this point, we've been fighting for both of us have fought for almost 15 minutes. And so we're being very thoughtful about our energy, knowing that there's 2 more matches after this just to, to get to the finals. So it's all right, we got to be it's starting to test your endurance a little bit. Anyways, so we're both playing it really smart. I'm trying to drive my knee through this guy's ass, dude. I'm this is that's how I pass the last 2 dudes' guards. It's just that's how I break guard. I'm putting knee in asshole. And this guy was I don't know how, but he was pretty comfortable with that. So my knee's up there. I'm driving it through his taint, while also trying to keep my base and my balance. And he's actually he keeps his legs locked. And in retrospect, I'm trying to think I don't know if this dude was taller than me. He must have been maybe a little bit taller than me for the length of his legs to be able to stay closed while my knee was grinding through his shit.
Yeah, you were basically in combat base, and he had his
closed guard was intact.
Closed guard, yeah.
For a solid,
I think he dropped it lower too.
He definitely whatever he did was
it was a little bit lower, and so maybe it was just around
whatever.
Really
whatever he was doing, he it worked well for him because he was able to retain his guard while I had my combat base, like you said, my knee in his gear. But eventually it broke. I started to apply enough pressure that he was all right, I can't keep doing this. And he started we were the clock was toning down. It was going down. It was 3-minute mark, 3:30 mark, 3:45 mark. And we're running out of time, and he needs, it's 0-0. And the referee let us go. 2 black belts. He's letting us play the game. I wasn't sure if he was going to call a stalling in either direction. Actually, the other dude did get a stalling call. Or was it the second? Was it my semis match? The guy got a stalling call. It doesn't matter.
It was not that match. It was
a semis. It was a semis match.
Yeah,
so no big deal. But because the guy was working. I will say, but I was trying. I of course, in my opinion, thought I was working a little bit harder to break and exit his guard. I was doing what I needed to do. It was just taking more time to develop. But eventually, I do end up driving my knee through enough for him to open up his guard. At which point, he's starting to kind of toss his weight around. Right before I was able to pop his guard open, he's really starting to shift his hips lock as I'm still confined within that V or whatever, or loop of his closed guards. He's trying to get some type of, I think he was trying to play for an activity advantage that he could use for a ref's decision. not a bad call, but there wasn't enough there for him to really like gain any actual advantage over me.
Yeah, his so I was coaching right next to his coach. He had like 3 of them yelling at him. But they were basically just telling him to be, so like every time he just moved, they were like coaching in retrospect to try to
Influence
the ref. Yeah.
I
Because
do
they
that
did it
too.
later and I started yelling at them.
Countered it.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of counter coaching so that because Tim and I were both yelling at you in that one.
Yep. Shout out to Tim for jumping over to help.
And so I was like, all right, I'll let Tim throw some tactical advice and I'm going to just counter coach these people.
That's good.
And so
they had a team. We had a team. Yeah, dude, you're right. And by the way, I don't blame them for doing that. I do that too. I try to influence the judges as much as I can because, again, what we said earlier, it's like you got to play every hand you got. So yeah, they're trying to do that. And so he's kind of playing these games, trying to move me around. I think they knew they were trying to like stir up some type of head nod activity wise to get the referee on their side. No problem. So it's about like a minute left. And this is when I open his guard and I'm like, all right, if I don't score, like I'm going to lose this match. Like I have to do something. I'm assuming I just assume like if this goes to the referee's decision, of course I could get it, but like I'm assuming I'm not going to.
And it's especially when like they've pulled guard. So like they technically initiated ground. Like you have to kind of think that way too when you're when you're competing, because
it's like what Lewis was talking about, the guy we were discussing, like what he was saying about like, dude, don't put yourself in the situation. So here I am holding myself accountable to that. And anyways, right, so the guard does open up. This guy's starting to open up a little bit more. I think he kind of knows. He's like, all right, I better do something. Has to happen. He starts to open up a little bit to like try to inspire some type of definitive action, at which point I'm in this like open kind of like headquarters knee cut situation. I do get chest to chest pressure on him. He's really trying to like shield out and stop me with his hips and his hand. And it just ended up like spring loading me into a pass. And I blasted through his guard. And I got very definitive chest, and then side control pressure and my 3 points. And I'm like, all right, in my head, I'm like, that's the match. Like I've got this. All I got to do is not be a dumbass. And I'm in side control. Because of everything I just said, I have like really sticky chest pressure. I can start threatening some attacks from here. I can start like pushing his elbow. I'm using my forehead to kind of like move his arm around, thinking maybe I'm like, whatever I can do to like make this guy sweat. And I wasn't expecting to get like an Americana, but I'm like, I'm going to threaten this American. I'm going to push his wrist around. I'm going to let him know that like I'm not just going to sit here. I start punching his elbow across, see if I can get a head and arm choke. You called that out. You're like, no, referees. Because I think at that point, that's when they're like, he's stalling him. I had just gotten there.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, but that's no problem.
They were yelling the stalling, and I was like, yeah, keep working that arm across. Go for the head and arm. Just trying to like.
Luckily, we had a good referee who's like seen enough shit. Like,
yeah.
Like he's like, yeah, it's fine. He's not going to be like overly. And at that point, it was definitive. I was like, I'm going to win.
Well, even if he did call stalling, it's like, dude, there's 30 seconds left. You're 3-0. It doesn't matter if you get the minus, like if you have that one stall call.
Yeah. But there were any stall calls and I wasn't stalling. So, but yes, I'm with it, brother. Anyways, yeah. So, I hold that position. He's kind of exposing his back. I start threatening a back take, but time runs out. I win. Yippee. I took him out. Dude won the Worlds last year. All right. So, that's that. And then I go into the semis. And at this point, fatigue's kind of kicking in a little bit, right? Interestingly, me and homeboy tie up. He pulls guard quickly. He runs up the scoreboard early on me. And this was the problem for me. Because like I said, I was feeling fatigue, but as the match went on, I actually felt like I'm like, dude, I always feel fatigue. So it was kind of normal. Credit to like the work me and Nassim do. Granted, we have homework to do in terms of keeping that pop, that snap, that power fresh, so I don't put myself in that situation. Because this is what I also coach my guys to not do, which is try not to put yourself in this situation where the score is working against you and the clock is working against you. Because that's ultimately what happened to me was, dude got his points up on me early, and my reactions ultimately ended up working for me, but they were late. They were late in the game. Dude ran up the scoreboard. I ended up reversing him because he mounted me. He passed my guard and he mounted me, and I'm down on points, like a lot. I want to say that's like a 10-point differential or something. Yes. I reverse him. You don't get points for a reversal, but I'm on top finally. This is the first time I'm in I'd been in a bad position for a good 2.5, 3 minutes of the match. And now like a minute 20 left, I'm on top, and I'm like, all right, like, and I can hear Tim, I can hear you guys being like, yo, we got to do some shit. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, if I don't submit this guy, like, I don't know how I'm going to get, I know how to get 10 points, but I don't think it's going to happen in about 45 seconds. So I'm starting to think through what are some sub potential options. So I reverse him. I'm in his close guard. Again, knee through asshole. It works. I pop open his guard. I grab his leg. I start to go for a straight ankle lock, but he extracts it. So I kind of come up and I start passing his guard. he exposes his back. He turtles out. Now there's like maybe 28, 30 seconds left. And I know this. I know the clock's there, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, man, like I'll get to the hindsight thing once the match is over here in a second. Like this dude was tired. Like he had gassed out, but he was up. So it doesn't even matter if he gassed out at this point. You know, weirdly enough, even though I was tired, I was like, I'm the one attacking this dude. I'm on offense here. Like, cool. Like I'm going to finish. Like big picture wise, it doesn't matter. He made it in the finals. I did not. He did his job. He did his damn job. And even though he gassed out, like he managed the match well enough so that it worked out in his favor. But in my head, this is a silver lining thing. I'm like, I'm still on offense. I'm still going. I'm going to finish this position. I'm going to finish this match, like trying to attack this dude from like one of the best positions. So like, all right, like, you know, hey, you know what? Silver lining there. But so I'm hunting for a back take. I'm trying to like grab his head and shit. And he's just like fucking holding out. And, you know, I'm going for it. My attack was rushed. As this, again, this is why I tell people not to do this shit, because the clock's working against me. I'm making mistakes. I'm not executing as well as maybe if I had 90 seconds or 2 minutes to go. I could have had a crisp back take. I could have had a crisp rear naked choke. But so I'm rushing it, man. Clock runs out. You know, we high five, we knuckle, you know, credit to that guy. He wins the match. Good job for him, man. That was it. That was the run for me. But yeah, like I said earlier, you know, I'd had a bunch of bad experiences. I say bad, just like losses. You know, not that big of a deal. I'd never been injured or anything in Worlds. People have had much worse. There were guys and gals getting their legs destroyed. We'll talk about that in a minute. So
Yeah.
my quote unquote bad experience, there's just losses, like big fucking deal. You learn to deal with that shit. But I was happy to like finally not go out first round and lose in Worlds again, make a good run in a good division. A lot like the everyone on the podium. The other three dudes were like either pans or existing world champions or medalists, like high level guys. We had a really competitive division. Like I said, the guy I beat in the quarters to make it to the semis was the prior year's world champion. And I've had I knew it was going to be a competitive division, but I had a couple other dudes come up to me and be like, damn, dude, like your all's bracket was nasty this year. I had one buddy who I competed against earlier this year who dropped down to a different weight class. He ended up winning his weight class. He won featherweight. He told me afterwards, like, this was the most competitive year lightweight. So I was like, all right, man, high five, Knuckles. I'll take it. So yeah, good bracket, good run. And I wasn't injured. My calf cramped up a couple times. My calf's been a little sore for the last 48, 72 hours, but big fucking deal, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, that's about, you knocked out the previous world champ. I believe the guy that you lost to in the semis, you had him so gassed that he lost in the final.
Yeah.
So, you know, small victories. We'll take them.
Nah, whatever. Yeah, it's just.
But, you know, like it was a great showing. And like, honestly, like, even though I didn't win, like the work that we've been putting in with the team, like it made a huge difference.
Huge difference, man.
Like just, I could feel it from earlier in the year until now, like just the difference in like strength and everything, like ability to be explosive for longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my match, it made a difference. I just made a bunch of mental errors, but not a bunch, one major mental error. But like, you know, being able to maintain a 2.5 minute long scramble, you know, like having that cardio capability and like come off the mat not huffing and puffing at all, you know, like that, it makes a huge difference. So, you know, and yeah, man, like I guess I can go over mine now, but
yeah, do it.
But yeah, so in my first match, I came in number 2 seed, finished the year number 4. So
hell yeah.
But went into the tournament number 2 seed. I had a matchup, so I had bye to the second round of qualifiers. But we get out there, guy tries to shoot off the slap bump. So
that was unexpected.
Yeah, especially like the data we had on him was he pulls. So like good on him. But you know, like it was fine. Like I rolled him through it, and we ended, which they gave him an advantage for the shot, I guess. Yeah, apparently you can shoot and get advantages now. Didn't matter in the end, so whatever. But like he shot, we high-fived, and then he pretty much blast doubled right off of that. I rolled him through actually back into a takedown attempt of my own, technically.
Yeah.
they brought us back to the center. Then I was like, all right, let's do it then. I thought he was going to stand up and then he pulls guard. So it was, I guess it's a good gamemanship, honestly. Like he had me ready to bang it out on the feet, and then he just pulled on the second attempt. So, he caught me.
Yeah.
But off of that, he pulled guard. I started working a pass like super quick. Had a really near pass actually off of that. Almost had north-south. But he had the head off the pass. Or no, that was later. So dropped in, he turtled up. That's what it was. He turtled up after that. We had like a little scramble. He threw me off the front when I was trying to take his back. I came back up and then took him down off a single leg. But he had my head, sort of. He didn't have his hands locked, but he had his arm over my head. And in transition from that, he turtled again. But I was there for a little bit, trying to hold him. But looking back, like hindsight, I probably should have decided to slow it down and settle there, versus continuing to try to go like 270 to the other side. I should have just settled and just let him hold my head. And just wait it out until he takes it off. But then in that transition, he turtles. I was super high the way that he came up. So I tried to just put my hooks in. And then scramble ensues. I end up in bottom turtle with the ankle. So I have his leg like in like a super low single. And I was trying to decide like which way to go. And I picked the wrong way. So I went to like pull it towards me rather than trying to circle out one way or the other. Ended up getting him up. So I lifted the leg. And as I lifted, I didn't realize he had this arm. I watched it a few times. I didn't realize he had my right arm. So as I lifted, he like pulled me into a crucifix, like just pulled my arms apart. And then he ended up getting the arm across. I tried to rotate out of it. And then he ended up, it was deep. My throat hurt like the rest of the weekend. He had a nice deep choke on it. But, it's one of those things like when you have like a super mobile, scrambly game anyways, that like sometimes those scrambles do come down to like who ends up where, like in whatever moment it stops, right? Like, because sometimes you're both just kind of trying to grab stuff and it gets a little funky and you're both kind of living in like that weird motion. And like we kind of talked about it, like I'm really comfortable with it, and that can also play against me because I'm okay with having these like funky scrambles, and I'm comfortable being in those weird positions because I know I can fight out of it and not get scored on and like stuff like that. Like I know how to turn those into non-scoring positions. But it really just came down to who settled at the right time. And like, I just picked the wrong time to try to stop the scramble. Cause like I had a point where I was in a position to score if I decided to settle and stop there. So like, it was just looking back, it was just a bad decision, but it is what it is. Someone has to win, right? Someone has to lose too. And but overall, like looking back on it, there was a lot of corrections that even though it was a short match, there were a lot of corrections from other matches. So things that I had corrected on like other losses in that loss. So like overall, and we'll talk about it when we go into analysis on the next episode, but like, so stay tuned. But but like overall, like
to be continued.
We were there. Like I got out there, I did the match. The tournament didn't overwhelm me. Like just lost another match. It's just what it is. So like overall, like it was decent, do I wish I won? Yeah, obviously, like everyone would. But like it was, I lost just doing jujitsu and nothing else. Like there wasn't anything else that like caused me, like, I know at Pans, I psyched myself out and like I lost Pans to Pans, not like I just was more nervous than I need to be, and like just the environment and everything kind of overwhelmed me. And then like, but that was gone at this. Like I wasn't worried about it. Like just went out there and did jujitsu and happened to lose. And so like, it's just one of those things that, hey,
it happens. And like you said, that's the best way to lose.
Yeah.
You're actually doing it instead of, like you said, like the circumstances kind of pulling you away from the game. It's just the game.
Yeah. I was able to like be present in the moment, compete, and just do the damn thing. Right. And, someone has to win, someone has to lose. It's a game. That's how it works.
And guess what? There's going to be another one of these things next year.
Every year.
In fucking Vegas. And there's going to be a million events before that. Yeah.
There's plenty of other opportunities.
There's more fights to come.
And then Andrea, so we can keep going down the list. But I figured we should talk about her. She was on the show. We had her. She was one of our first guests.
Yep.
And she was part of the squad for the weekend. But yeah, she had her brown belt debuting at a new belt rank at Worlds, which is crazy. Not really. She did great. But she went out, she went a full 6 and like she looked great out there. I mean, she lost by 2 on the day, and like she honestly could have, we downloaded with her afterwards, like it literally just came down to she should have pulled sooner was her analysis of it. We're not saying we think that was kind of what she felt like she should have done. And like, honestly, I would think that if she did, she probably wins that match.
Yep. It was competitive, and it was razor thin. It was her first event. And like we talked about, it's the biggest event of the year. So there's, I think, a little bit of like on both sides, like a little bit of like easing of the pressure. It's like, hey, it's your first one, happens to also be Worlds, no big deal. First one at Browns on her first tournament, but yeah, man. So there's like, it's kind of a duality of like, there's going to be some pressure, but there's also like not that much pressure. Let's see how you do. It's your first brown belt tournament. And I think it was a good experience for her to see that, like, and like you said, that was her strategic analysis, which I think makes a lot of sense. Very smart for her to kind of draw that conclusion. And I think the biggest thing was being like, it's kind of like seeing like, yo, like, look how close this match is. You went the distance. The other lady, like, just scored a takedown early. And like Andrea said, that she wanted to get to her guard anyways if she just initiated that from the jump. Well, now there's no points. And she has that changes everything, right? If a person that like what I said earlier, like the dude's got the lead or a lady has a lead, like their decision making, then kind of like the rest of the points become more of a luxury than a requirement. So like if she pulls guard on this gal and this gal's got no points, does the other person start like rushing things and make things happen? Like it's possible, if not only possible, but likely that happens. And therefore that changes things quite a bit. So I think the takeaway is that like, hey, like one, you're a brown belt now, like you can see you belong here. Like you're like razor thin little things away from, this match is very close being an L or a W. And then the other thing, her being, senior enough to make these calls to say, hey, like, all right, I've fought enough times. I'm a brown belt now. Like I have a pretty solid idea of how I want to approach these matches. I think I should do X. And then, as long as the idea doesn't sound crazy and I don't think it's completely off, I look at her and I say, yeah, hell yeah. I think that makes sense. You know what you're talking about. Let's develop that now. And so, yeah, like a good, she's had a good active run. She's medaled at, she medaled at Pans. Like she's had a good year.
But she got silver at Pans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So, like a good year. And I think like you had a good year. Everyone had a good year. I had a good year. No one's injured right now. Right, Michael?
No one's injured.
All right, good. I never know with you.
I came out of there with the same number of injuries that I went in with.
You're not more injured.
Yeah, that might be the best way to put it for me. I guess my knee technically fixed itself, so that was cool.
It sounds like that's still to be determined, but it's not worse. It's if it feels better, that we'll consider that like you healed it via
it's better
exercise.
It's better because it doesn't hurt.
Good. Yeah, I mean, we'll take it. But now's the time of the year to kind of like, I know we have like, that was the last big event for No-Gi, at least in the IBJJF. There'll be plenty of other tournaments and opportunities to compete. But like you, Andrea, me, like people, anyone else who's listening who's competed a ton, people get a little bit of time to like decompress. Like take a look at everything. We're going to talk about this here in a second, but like you get to actually like study and think and be like, all right, like most of the big and the IBJJF no-gi tournaments start to take place later in the year. People who are ambitious and active will generally compete prior to that, but it's second half of every year. So you get a little bit of time to really like pause for a second, and it's not like you're going to stop training, but you get to train a little differently, and maybe give the body a break if you are kind of banged up, Michael. But you get to like harvest some of the gains and all the things you've learned from like making these big, ambitious, like heavy intensity competition runs throughout the year. It's a good time to like do that.
Yeah, I'm most excited to not cut weight for a few months.
I don't doubt it.
I've been cutting weight way too much.
A lot.
Time to get some of those gym and kitchen gains.
Yes, dude.
Did I show you? Yeah,
you showed me the scale.
Seeing the scale? Yeah, I went up 11 pounds.
Fuck yeah.
Since Thursday.
How much of that was? Did you eat any pizza in Vegas?
I had no pizza in Vegas.
Yeah, me neither.
I had like steaks.
Yes.
I did steaks. Then I did our dinner. I had a giant burrito before that.
Shout out to Bazaar Mar.
But yeah, Jose Andres. And then, but the next day, Saturday was. I went to the Bellagio all-you-can-eat buffet for brunch.
That's like 7 pounds of food, right
dude.
there.
I had 2 prime ribs.
Oh man,
like 3 poke bowls, and then I don't normally eat dessert, but I had some dessert.
What'd you eat?
Oh boy, I had some I had 2 things of ice cream.
You little kid.
Annie gave me a donut to eat.
Cool. She brought a donut, or was it from the buffet?
She got it from the buffet,
she said,
"You should eat this. I don't want it." I had a couple little mini tarts. So I had a couple of those, like little key lime pie and like a little cheesecake thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Eggs. Dude,
I'm certain you ate eggs.
I got my $50 worth.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Damn, dude, I need a buffet, man. I didn't have any pizza in Vegas. I had some pizza when I got back here. But now I'm back to eating steak and eggs, and I'm not going to pig anymore. I'm going to go back to eating.
Yeah.
Pretty normal. But I think maybe like a Brazilian steakhouse. Like I'm due for like an unlimited just calorie nuclear bomb to my stomach. Could be like, I feel like a good workaround to like make it feel like you're not like, I mean, it's still indulgent, but it's not like gluttonous, would be like a meat.
Well,
situation. Yeah, it's like you're like it's protein.
You're like I'm just getting my protein count for the day.
400 grams of protein.
Yeah, but you account for that in your daily diet.
If I talk to Asim, I'm certain he's gonna be fine with it. It's it's fine.
I'm not doing all you can eat cake and ice cream.
Yeah,
because I'm.
Or maybe I'll do that too, but like I don't. That doesn't really get me going. Like the unlimited salty stuff does.
Yeah, when you go, also that's the more expensive item at an all you can eat anyway. So even if the other stuff is available,
so now we're talking value. Now we're talking.
Oh, dude, yeah,
maximum value.
You have to have the maximum value on your buffet.
Yeah, you ain't got to tell me.
This is how I do my buffet. I do buffet math, dude, or like all you can eat math. Like we'd go to like all you can eat brunch, and like someone's about to order. Like I'm like, no. So here's what we need to do. Everyone has to order at least.
The most expensive thing on the menu.
5 things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you don't order 5 things, you're losing money. It's just how it works.
So foolish.
Just do a la carte. Just do a la carte if you only get 2 things.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, it's just...
It's normal food stuff.
These are things you do.
Yeah,
It also probably, whatever. I'm not going to go into...
It makes sense to me.
All you can eat meat buffets or like all you can eat meet situations or experiences, whatever they are, fighters drinking coffee approved behavior. Do that.
Big time.
But yeah, I mean, that was, are we missing anything else from Worlds? Any other?
No, it was cool, man. I had a good time.
It was good. It was good. It was good. A good group. We had a good like support system going too for the 2 days of competition. I think I wish I maybe got there like 1 day earlier.
It does feel like a short period of time when you get in, like, and then you compete the next day.
Yeah.
And then your next day after that is like helping me out. You're up at like 6 a.m. at least. You probably were up at 5 a.m. Yeah. So it does feel like you're not like enjoying Vegas.
Well, I wasn't too worried about that part, but like I kind of wish I had like a day to acclimate.
Oh, I see.
Like a full day to acclimate.
I see. The night before is a tough move.
Yeah, like getting there the afternoon before, like basically competing 24 hours after I landed. Not too bad, but like I do wish I had that like one extra day.
Now you're figuring out what your routine should look like next time you compete on the road.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's something to consider, man. Like some people I know are good at like I'm showing up the next morning, I'm just gonna get it done, bang. And some people aren't. I kind of tend to be like you. I like to kind of get out there a little early, be like, all right, like let me get my bearings. I have like a day if I traveled somewhere crazy and I want to sleep for like a couple extra hours, do that. Excuse me. Get the lay of the land. Where's the event? Where am I located? Walk around. Where's a good place to eat? Where can I hydrate? Kind of get it all figured out. Dude, this is logistics. This is art of war shit like we talk about. It's like knowing the battlefield. You got to survey the battlefield.
You have to. It's important.
It is important.
But yeah, I mean that's the only like thing I think I would do differently. I mean other than win, but
well,
that's not 100% in my control.
Right.
That's only like
we're talking
sliding scale of percentages.
We're talking about preparation here, man. Preparation's critical.
But
I think the art of war.
I think getting that additional little bit of time would probably help. But
I'm with it.
You know, maybe like flying the Tuesday evening.
You could have done the same thing a day earlier, and I bet you would have just been like a nice little bonus. Good, write it down.
Yeah, I put it on my analysis.
Bingo.
But yeah, but with that was Fires Drinking Coffee, and that was Worlds 2025.
Worlds 2025.
It was a good time, and we'll do it again.
We will do it again
at Worlds 2026.
Fucking A.
But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted too when we're going to be doing more of those. When we're going to have the squad, have the show on the road.
Last time we got to actually meet and say hi to the Unbreakable.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They had a great run too. It was cool to like see some Fighters Drinking Coffee guests and friends.
Yeah, Mindy won double gold.
She did.
She's a beast.
She's champ, dude, double champ.
Yeah, so now I mean, I might be going down there in March to TBD, but we'll see what happens. I guess it depends on if I'm doing something else. I don't know.
Okay.
But
you have time.
Yeah, I have time to figure that out. But yeah, that was Fires Drinking Coffee, guys. That was Worlds 2025. And
we love you.
We love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.